Welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki C, all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am here to bring you another amazing guest from the Connected Leaders Academy, which we had the pleasure to spend the CLA Global Summit weekend together. Absolutely amazing. First time I met her in person. But before we get into her and that, let's just send a huge shout out to our sponsors, Jose Escobar with the Connected Leaders Academy, Patrick Rude with Breathe, Patrick Rude with the Dirty Little Secret Society, and Julian Noah with Breathe Capital Planning. If you want to know anything about our sponsors and how they serve, you can go to our website at www.buildingaleadershipmindset.com, where you will find everything BALM Global and what we have going on. Let's get right into who our guest is. She is none other than another Nikki, an amazing Nikki. Nikki Gangemi has made 3 significant pivots in her life, from actress to teacher to entrepreneur. This firsthand experience equips her with a unique perspective on navigating major life transitions. As an international board certified master NLP practitioner, hypnotherapist, speaker, trainer, and author, Nikki brings a blend of expertise, compassion, and empowerment to her coaching practice. She helps ambitious entrepreneurs, perfectionists, and people pleasers build unshakable confidence and feel empowered to pursue the goals they aspire to without letting fear and self-doubt rob them of any more time. Nikki helps her clients transcend personal and professional barriers through the transformative NLP coaching, and her proprietary calm method equipping them with the internal tools necessary for attracting prosperity, relationships, transformations, and elevating their life and business. Without further ado, let's get our friend on here. Hey, Nikki G, how are you?
Hey, Nikki C, thanks for having me. It's so fun to be here with you.
Oh my goodness, I am so excited. I know we've been trying to get this to happen, and it's finally here, and I'm super excited. I think it's even more exciting because I met you in person and just had time to really get to know you, hang out with you, and just see us in that space together was just absolutely amazing. So I just want to say thank you for that, and thank you for joining our BALM Global podcast family now. Super excited to have you.
Thank you. Yes, it was awesome to meet you in person. Yeah, loved it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we're going to get right into it. And here we bring entrepreneurs in our communities and really come and share their stories and how they have been able to shift their mindset and really just going for their dreams. And first of all, I love this calm method. I want to know what that is, because I'm all about like acronyms, and we'll share that a little bit later. But tell us a little bit about your backstory.
Sure. Yeah. So mindset has definitely been a journey in and of itself for me. Quick overview of my story. I basically just, we're all playing a game of life. If life is a game, what game are you playing? And I was playing the game of assumptions. And it turns out that I had played the wrong game for about 40 years. So going backwards to when I was about 6 years old in first grade, one of the wrong assumptions that I made was that it was not safe to speak up after someone told my mother that your daughter needs to wear a muzzle. And I took that to mean that it wasn't safe to speak up. And many of us do that. So think about assumptions that you've made and then looking for evidence to prove that it's true. And guess what? What you focus on, you will find. So found lots of evidence for that. And that's how we create the story of our life and start building upon that. So I always wanted to act. I wanted to be anybody but me. I felt comfortable speaking up and playing a role of someone else. And I finally pursued my dream of acting at 23 when I moved across the country from New Jersey to California. But I only gave myself a year before giving up because I decided I didn't have what it took and all of that nonsense. When I moved back home to New Jersey, I didn't know what else to do. So I listened to what I was told, and that was to be a teacher because it's a rewarding career. And I became one, but I was unhappy on the inside and felt shame to say, I don't like this. Because of what society says. So I played that role for 15 years. It wasn't until I was almost 40 when I had this wake up call and learned about another way of doing life, and that was the coaching industry. And I made the decision to resign from that teaching job at the age of 40 and begin life again and start a new chapter. So I'm fascinated by the mind. I'm fascinated by questioning our paradigms and changing our belief systems. It's very much a part of the work that I do as an NLP practitioner and a hypnotherapist. And that's what I love to do today. Help people take back their life and live it their way on their terms with confidence, motivation, and happiness without the side effects.
I love that. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize that we actually share a similar story. And I didn't pick it up in our conversations. And one is that I don't know if you read my book, but in Building a Leadership Mindset, I actually my first chapter is called Courage, and it actually shares the 3 pivotal moments in my life, the 3 steps of courage I took. And one of them, first one, was moving from Chicago to Philadelphia. So you moved from Jersey to California.
Yeah.
Then the second one was becoming applying for a job I had no experience, which was healthcare, and then leaving that to become it wasn't a coach initially. I didn't think that's what my end goal was going to be, but the transition to just having my own business. So amazing. Tell us a little bit about how you had to just pivot that. Like, how long were those decisions in each to change? How long did it take for you to say, okay, this is not for me, and this is what I'm going to go to next? Because that's important for people to understand, that you don't have to say or do what you think you want it to do. If you're not passionate about it, you can definitely go to something else that you desire. So tell us about those transitions.
Yeah, well, the trends, so they were long. I will say that the transitions were long. When I came back from California, I was 24, didn't know what to do. Teaching fell in my lap, actually. It was very easy. Every step of the way, it was easy, and I got a job immediately. It was my best friend who said, why don't we become teachers together? And we take the state exam. I pass, she fails. I become a teacher, she doesn't. That started the journey. Got my first job right away. And it was about 12 years in to teaching that I was complaining one day to a coworker. And he said, why don't you just bloom where you're planted? And I didn't know what that meant, but I knew it was important. So I put it on the back burner. So that was pivotal in the transition that was to come. Because it came up about a year later when I was dating a guy who I thought was the guy for me. Like, I finally met my guy on Plenty of Fish. And it turns out that he wasn't my guy, but he was a reason in a very short season. And what he said to me that was pivotal in the transition is that you don't wait in life for opportunities to come your way. You pave the way. And with that, Bloom Where You're Planted came up, and Mindful Matters was born. So I pitched it as a mindfulness program for kids because that was my audience at the time. And I was teaching in a district that I was a student in myself. And I saw the same bullying and all of that going on. And I said, wow, nothing has changed all these years. And I don't want these kids to be like I chose to be, which was a victim, and continue that. I said, I'm going to teach them how to change their thoughts, manage their mind and their emotions, and know that they're good enough as is. So that started the transition. 1 year in of piloting the program, it was shut down. And I made the decision that this felt familiar to acting, except now I'm not going to give up. I'm going to think bigger. And what does that look like? And it was through the questioning and curiosity that everything just aligned. And I attracted a business coach who introduced me to the coaching industry. I didn't even know what a life coach, that was a thing at the time. So I went and I got my certification. That took a year, my first certification. And it was the age of 40. That was that pivotal moment where I woke up and I said, how did I get here? How did I end up in a life when I did everything right? Everything I was told was the right thing to do. The certainty and stability of the teaching, the pension, the benefits. Where's my husband and kids? Because that part of the package hadn't arrived. And that really informed my decision to resign from the job. And I said, you know what? I think it's time I do things my way. So, long answer to the question, it ultimately took 12 years from saying yes to something that was a hard no for me, and then just going through the motions, and then those pivotal people along the way that say something to you that cause you to start to think different. And it creates a domino effect.
Yeah. Wow. Tell us about that. Tell us about those voices that you hear outside. How did they impact you, and how did you overcome what things stuck and what things you just didn't take for face value?
So that stuck. The bloom where you're planted, and you don't wait for opportunities to come. You pave the way. That stuck with me. And then when I was finishing out my teaching career, there was 5 days left of the school year, and I took a business trip to Vancouver, and I spent 4 life-changing days on this business retreat where I got to meet everybody in person, including my mentor. And some feelings were coming up because I knew I was stepping away from that certainty and into the unknown entrepreneurial world. And my mentor said to me, Nikki, there's a line in the sand and you've already crossed it, but you only have 1 foot on the other side. And what you need to do is you need to put that other foot, pick it up and put it over on the other side of the line and stand firmly planted on this side of the sand, because that's where everything that you want is. And there's no more looking back into the past. And that really stuck with me too, that you've made the decision and now you're going to fully commit to it. Even when life gets hard, even when there's no proof or evidence that things are going to work out, you just keep looking forward and focusing on what's my next step, and then taking that action that feels aligned and inspired.
Oh my goodness. It just brings me back. And thank you for following that. Thank you for really identifying that, because a lot of people miss those signs that we're given that are, if we stay still at times, we will be given the answers that we need. I truly believe that. So I just want to thank you for doing that and for being you, because you're just awesome. But there's something that you said about taking action. Oh my goodness, I spoke too much and I forgot what I was going to say. But it was very powerful what you said. And I actually had a story behind it. And it was more of oh goodness, it's going to come to me, Nikki.
Totally.
It's
Going to come back. Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. So with these events happening in your life, and you're listening to these voices, and you know what's stuck, right? Has there ever been a time where, oh, this is what it was, evidence. You had no clear evidence of if this was going to work, but you still took action. Was there ever a time that you actually had evidence and you still kind of doubt it? Because that's huge.
That's huge. Yes. And only always, I would say, when I have evidence and it was when I have evidence and I don't take action, or I question it, even with the evidence there. Yeah. I want to say this because this was really important. When I had no evidence that things would work out, there was no, actually the month that I decided to turn in my letter of resignation, I had $0 coming in through my business that month. So 0 evidence it would work out to resign from a job and leave that paycheck. What made me do what some people might say is a crazy thing to do, and that's leave anyway, is that I had this feeling of calm, like in my solar plexus. And I was like, I'm thinking about leaving my job and the possible ramifications of that. Why am I feeling a sense of calm there? And I said, you know what? That means I'm going to be okay. I'm going to trust that calm, that my body knows that all will be well. And that is really what made me go ahead and put the letter in the mailbox.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Amazing. And we're going to get to that calm method, I promise. But I just want to share a similar story, but me having the evidence. So
Mm.
when it was COVID, I told my manager, my supervisor at the time, I said, hey, I have my notary commission. I'm going to take a week off. I'm going to tell you if I'm going to resign or not. And when I come back on Monday, I'll give you the answer. I worked an 18-hour work week, received my first $1,600 in that week. I was able to spend time with my son, take him to and from. And I still, that Monday morning at Sunday night, I had made a decision to say, I can't let my team down. I'm working on this huge project. I'm going to stay till either the end of the year or I'm going to wait till the following August. Mind you, this is October. I'm going to wait till the following August and complete my 15 years and then I'll leave. They were sending people with severance packages and I'm crossing my fingers like, please let me go with a severance package. I don't want to have to make this decision because I really valued my work. So having the evidence that Monday morning, that's a decision I was going to make until God told me, if not now, when.
Mm.
Which I feel that's similar to your calm moment. Like, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Like, you don't know what the outcome is going to be, but just take those steps and pave the way. So you have to break the glass ceiling. So kudos to you. We're going to take
Oh.
an amazing, I know
I
I
got
get
the
chills because
chills going down my arms and back when you said that, because it's true. That's what that means.
absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to our sponsors and we're going to come back and we're going to finally figure out what the calm method is. And we will be right back.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JASCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
Hello, hello. Welcome back. We are with Nikki Gangemi. What did you think about that video?
Oh my God. I was thinking, this is amazing. It was just the fun in it and the connection and the camaraderie. And it just looked like it was a really powerful event for everybody. I was impressed by the video.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was our 1 year anniversary, which we celebrated on Monday. And you've seen a lot of the same people over the CLA Global Summit.
I
So
did.
you were
I'm
able
like,
to
oh, I
meet
know these
them. And
people.
yes, yes. So uh, that was awesome. Connected Leaders Academy. That's how me and Nikki connected amongst a lot of other amazing entrepreneurs doing amazing things. So tell us, Nikki, what is CALM an acronym or is
It
it just
is.
okay, tell us what it is. And
Yes, I will. So I will say that calm was an inspired idea that came out of an obstacle, which is important because one of the things I've learned is that there's an opportunity within each obstacle that we perceive. So I was all set to do a workshop for a jewelry company on money mindset. And 2 days before the workshop, the woman who hired me calls and says, "This is no longer appropriate. Can you please just help these women with their emotions?" It was March 2020 and the world had just shut down and there was such uncertainty. So I said, absolutely. I hang up the phone. I'm trying to replan everything and I was lost. So I said, you know what? I'm going to practice what I preach. I'm going to sleep and I'm going to set the intention that I will wake up with the perfect idea to help these women. When I woke up, I did something I never do. I shoot up out of bed and I see calm, CALM. And each letter, it was conscious, aware, lean into what is possible, make a new decision. And each of those steps is a framework for how to go from the chaos in your mind, whatever that is, the fear, the worry, the doubt, the overwhelm, into this grounded confidence and certainty where you can make an empowered decision and then take action on that. So that's how calm was born, just was inspired.
that is awesome. And I'm a little speechless because it these things happen so randomly that again, unfortunately, some of us don't run with it and take action and build around it because you went back to a space and you remembered what worked for you when things had to change, when you were faced with adversity, when you were faced with having to adapt and change, which it's the constant denominator in life, right? So we have to, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as people, we have to be ready for anything. And I love that you said, I'm going to go to sleep because that's what I've been doing lately as well. When I am just all zoomed out, one, two, all idea'd out, because I was literally up at like 5:30 this morning with a new idea. And I'm like calling Desiree. I'm like, hey, what about this? And so I get it. So that's just absolutely beautiful. What do you want to tell our listeners in regards to that, in regards to like listening to one, your body, your mind, and your soul? Because I know you do a lot with mindset as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. What I want to say is, so calm is, to me, it's the framework. It's the foundation for what you build a house on. It's a concept that we really weren't taught very much in school. I don't know. In the 15 years I taught, I didn't see this in the curriculum. But how do you manage your emotions other than pushing them away or saying, oh, I've got to get over it. There's lots of people who have it worse. Let me just forget about this, move on. Not very useful. How do you process those emotions? How do you take the thoughts in your mind and start to question them and level them up? Like go from, being in the basement type thinking to first class thinking and, changing those thoughts that align with the goals that you set for yourself. So calm teaches you how to do that. And it's very basic and foundational, but it's something that you can build on. And like anything else, the more you do it and you practice it, repetition is key. You start to automate that process in your mind. So you'll go from noticing that you're overwhelmed by something to recognizing it, allowing yourself to process the emotion, whether it's through some deep breathing, that would be an example of a technique you can use. And then going into putting those thoughts on trial. Hey, this is what I'm telling myself and it doesn't feel good. Are these facts or are they beliefs, interpretations, projections? and then reframing them. That's where you lean into what else is possible. What's another option? So you can take any kind of adversity and you can quickly turn it around to see the opportunity and the solutions that a lot of times are right in front of you. They're right under your nose. But when we're in chaos, we can't see it. We don't have access to the logical part of our mind. And then the most important part is step 4. And when you make a new decision, it's taking the action. I know, and you didn't say this exactly, but it's what I heard. But so many times we have these ideas and then we talk ourselves out of,
Oh, yeah.
oh, maybe I should wait on that, get some more information. We procrastinate. So the key is to take action immediately, as long as it feels inspired and aligned.
Absolutely. Action, it's a verb, right? It's what we are having to do when we want to see the difference, when we want to make the change, when we no longer, sorry, because do not disturb does not work on my iPhone today. It's not the first time and it definitely won't be the last, but I'm here. Yeah, so action, it either tells us to make a decision at some point, whether we're going to accept it, whether we are going to reject it, right? And sometimes that inner hater, that's what I like to call it, right? The one in my head
Mm.
that has talking me out of plenty of opportunities. But also give yourself grace, because when you don't know, you don't know, right? This is why mentors and coaches and like Nikki can guide you to that, because sometimes we need that, especially when we didn't have the moms, the dads, the aunts, the brothers that really supported what our dreams are and what our next steps are, and we're basically alone. And I know that there's a lot of men and women in this space that are really just trying to make it, and they don't have that support, right? Community. How important is community for entrepreneurs that are really trying to get into this space? And what are some advice on, tackling that inner hater, and how community has helped you through your process?
So community has been huge. I will say, I got involved after leaving my job. I got involved with many different networking groups, like the CLA and other ones, even chamber events. It's really important, I found, to surround yourself by like-minded people who have that growth mindset. And I've actually stepped a little bit away from some family and friends who have a different way of thinking. I can't tell you how many times when I shared what was going on in my business that a family or a friend would say, well, why don't you just get a job? It was like bringing up stuff that's very much in the box. It's like, well, you could drive for Uber. You can go work at Costco. That's not bad things, right? That's totally fine if it's in alignment with you. But when I went to my community, my networking communities, there was different types of feedback. There's like, well, have you thought of making this offer? Have you thought of creating this for your ideal client? It was totally outside of the box. And that kept me on the track I wanted to be on and moving in the direction that I wanted. So community has been huge for helping me to keep going and staying focused on what I want and living into possibility, because life is so much bigger than what we have been taught along the way.
Great advice. And I know there are so many communities that can support individuals on this journey. Just pick a community. You shouldn't do this alone. This not as fun as it is. I mean, just seeing that video, and it's like a family reunion. Even when we went to the CLA Global Summit, and connecting with them, people that really want to see you win. And when you're in that space and you continue to fill your personal development, there is no time for that inner hater to come out. They'll creep out sometimes, but you'll be well prepared to suppress that. That's one thing you do want to suppress, is that talking yourself out of
Yeah.
something great that other people see. And you actually have a hidden talent that I know we've been talking about, with your jingles and your quick wit. I don't know if you're planning to explore that. It actually inspired me to put a post in our Ladies of Leadership in Community and share, um, what are something that, your hidden talent that you like, a fun fact that you have done, because it's so important to know that some of those passions can also be turned into profit.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. And that, you know what? It's speaking of community. I was at one of the meetings, well, a bunch of them, and it took me a while, but I finally started hearing people repeating themselves. Oh, that's a great jingle, Nikki says. And it took me a while. And then I had the idea, why don't I help people with this? This is a problem that I can help solve. And so that was an idea that I took action on. And it's been fun helping people craft their memorable jingles.
I love it. So we're gonna have to have a conversation.
Yes,
For
we will.
sure. I mean, I know I popped into one of the meetings and I've heard it a few times as well. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then I see you sing karaoke when we're in Maryland, which was super awesome. Just to see people outside of the business, right? Outside
Mm,
of the community, just really being their authentic selves and just a pure heart that you have, the energy that you exude, was definitely calming and saying, hey, you know what, like, she's just so awesome. And I love that we can all do that for each other when we are in these spaces. So that's why I really emphasize on community and getting in these types of rooms, because it does more for us than the business part. And it's really the parts that we're lacking or missing, on our day to day. So I just wanted to shout you out for that.
Thank you. Thank you. One other thing I want to say about community is I love seeing other people's wins and successes, because for me, that's just evidence that it's possible for me too. So it's very inspiring and exciting to be around that and just watch everybody share their wins, because there could be something that someone does and you're like, you know what, I didn't think that that was possible for me, and now I know better. It absolutely is possible.
Definitely.
Mhm.
And I love these things as well, because what people fail to realize is that everything has been duplicated, right? Nothing's like actually original. Someone has either done it before or has switched it up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I just want like our audience to hear and know, and also to hear your opinion on it, is that when you see something that you want to adopt, right? I'm all about duplicating and repeating, but adding a splash of you
Yes.
in it. You are yourself in your own unique way. And this is for you, Nikki, our listeners, for myself. Like we bring something special. We beat 9 million sperms, to be here, right? And we made it, and we all have a purpose in life. And when we say yes to us, that's when the doors open and the magic happens. When you totally let free of the resistance of greatness, right? You just go for it. You figure it out along the way. You grab some people, bring them along with you. It's just so beautiful, to watch and see. So I just had to say that.
Yes. I love it.
So tell us what you're working on now and how can people get a hold of you?
Yes. So what am I working on now? I'm adding to my services. So I'm creating now a mindset on demand mentorship, which is basically like having a mentor in your pocket, where anytime something comes up, in the moment, that the person can reach out to me. They could just shoot me a text, tell me what's going on, and then I get back to them and I offer them mentorship through text message and audios. So that's my latest project, and it's a subscription. It's really great for past clients who want to continue in a different way and have that continuity. And then also for new people that maybe aren't ready for private coaching, but this is something that they can kind of dip their toe in the water. So that's most recent that I'm working on. And
That's
everybody
amazing.
could Thank you. Everybody can find me on all the social media and my website, all found under my name and Mindful Matters.
Absolutely. So tell us your business name and where they can go if you have a website or if it's a Facebook, and also tell us some of your services and how you help your community.
Sure. So my website is my name, nikkigangemi.com. On social media, you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn. My name, Nikki Gangemi, and Instagram is the company. So Instagram is Mindful Matters LLC. And as far as services, right now I've got the private coaching and I've got subscription. I work with wellness professionals like doctors, chiropractors, therapists, and entrepreneurs who struggle with perfectionism and people pleasing, and they're so wanting to take care of other people and helping that they neglect one of the most important people in the world, themselves. So I help them in upgrading their self-image and creating rock solid confidence, motivation, and happiness in a bottle without the side effects, is what I like to say.
I love it. See, those are one of her famous jingles. The quick one-liner. Those, we call those, I think, what Amelia would say, those are writer downers, right?
Yeah.
And those are things that that us as a community pick up, because we're in these communities, we're paying attention. When people leave that impression on you just so effortlessly, it's hard to ignore. And that's what you do for me, and I'm sure you do it for many others in our community. So I just want to say thank you for, again, coming on our podcast, sharing our story. I'm going to give you about another 2 or 3 minutes. Just share anything that you just want to let our audience know about you, your work, and just someone that's really stuck right now, that's really just battling that inner critic or that outside chaos. What would you like to leave them with?
I would like to say, because that's something I've struggled with for most of my life. I was told when I was about 10 or 11 years old that I have OCD. So that was an obsessive compulsive disorder. And the negative thoughts were running amok. And it was so uncomfortable inside of my body to have these really terrible thoughts going on. And I made it my goal to learn how to change that on my own without the side effects. And that's what I've done. So that's what I like to help people to do. So what I say is stop, right? Like when you become aware that you're spinning or spiraling or you're feeling some kind of a way that you don't want to, stop and take a pause, because it only takes 90 seconds to process an emotion when you allow it to be there. So take some deep breaths, do a box breathing. Just breathe in and breathe out for that minute and a half and allow the emotion to settle. And the second thing is to question everything that you tell yourself, because nothing has any meaning in life except the meaning that we give it. And we've got to start questioning, what am I making this mean? Because it's usually not facts. It's usually lies that we're telling ourselves. And learn how to start reframing that self-talk and the things that you're telling yourself. And if you need help doing that, I'm sure there's plenty of people in your community who could help you. But it's amazing how you can feel so much better just by changing the thoughts that you think. And start small. It's just about baby steps. And one other thing I'll say is, start asking yourself more questions instead of making dead-end statements. Like, I don't have what it takes. Where do you go from there? That's a dead-end statement. So turning that into, what's one quality I do have within me that will help me to take a step forward? Now that's an open-ended question. Now your mind is going to want to give it answers. So start asking yourself questions rather than telling yourself statements.
I love that. I love that. And also, when you can't come up with the answers, right? When you have all these answers, actually, let's go back. When you have all these answers and you don't know what to do with them, tell a friend. Tell someone that is going to guide you. And especially someone, again, mentor, coach, someone that you can lean on to say, hey, I have all these thoughts. I really don't know what it's telling me. I just need some kind of direction. What will you do? And then again, that's when you go and you ask questions. Is this person giving me genuine information? Are they leading me the correct way? Do I feel good about this? Am I confident about this? So the questions never stop, whether for yourself or for others as well. So that is a great point to leave our audience with. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this. If you have not written down the nuggets that Nikki has left, definitely watch this on replay. Put it on your playlist because it's just has been absolutely phenomenal. Just knowing your story and where all this awareness came from for you to actually take action with it. Things happen in our life for us to do something with it and then to share it with those that are going through something similar, or just remember as well, everyone knows someone that is dealing with this right now. So definitely connect with Nikki. She's absolutely amazing. And give us your website one more time, love.
NikkiGangemi.com.
There you go. And we will have it in the show notes. Thank you so much again, Nikki. It's been an absolute pleasure. Can't wait to continue to connect with you and be in community with you. And you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Nikki. I'm grateful for you.
You are so welcome. Thank you all for listening to another episode and watching another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. Again, if you want to see some past shows, you can go onto our website. It's a one-stop shop. Just go under podcast. You can go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, comment, share, support. And if you want to be a guest, you can also apply there as well. Thank you again. Have a great day. And as I always say, make it count. Bye.